Hi, everyone. We heard the administrators before speaking about the need for a change of a paradigm, for a paradigm change. Actually, I will make some references to the case of the city of Naples and of L'Asilo, which is the center I have the fortune to be part of for the last 5 years, because we started our experience as an occupation, and we are living our present under a formally recognized new regime, which goes under the name of civic use of emerging urban commons. And I will talk about this to say that yes, we started our experience with a motto, which was surrender, we're crazy. And with the enough trust and passion, we think that some possibilities for a social change are really there. In 2017, the city of Naples has been awarded the Eurobact Prize, Good Practice City, by the European Union for the model of civic use of emerging urban commons that could be transferred to other European cities sharing similar needs and contexts, such as the existence of a great number of underused public spaces and buildings, a strong community of citizens that needs and claims a common space to improve their quality of life. I quote, "Civil space covers a field of action that is under constant negotiation. It exists beyond government regulation and market forces and serves people and community to engage with socio-economic and political issues that concern them. The main crises of the past decade have made civil space more relevant again as a place of expressing controversy and dissent. The arts, with their ability to project alternative realities, can play a key role in addressing issues within this context," end of quote. In the recent years, the discourse around the commons became very alive all around Europe and beyond. More and more experiences of commoning rise, and today there is a wide network of such cases. Many are the autonomous centers and art spaces who rise from struggle and occupation on the impulse of collective action to try to practice self-government and self-organization of common spaces and resources outside the logic of the market. And those experiences operate under the constant threat to be shut down. There is a peculiar connection between creativity and criminality. This happens because these experiences are claiming for social change, most of the time operating, I quote, in the gray area between what is allowed and not, or not yet allowed. Civilians initiate that which a government or a state has not yet thought of or does not want to think of, and for which there are no interested markets. For the record, civil action does not coincide with criminal behavior. Civil action simply concerns non-regulated domains, areas not yet covered by law, end of quote. With the implementation of the civic use of emerging urban commons, the city of Naples stands out as a case of best practice and an example of how, instead of contrasting those bottom-up energies, it is possible to put them into value and recognize the transformative potential, not a threat, but an opportunity to be seized. In October 2015, almost 3 years ago, something new happened in Trans-Europe Oath. For the first time, our network accepted as full member a cultural center, L'Asilo, that has no legal entity, not an association nor a foundation, but an informal, permeable, and always expanding community of artists and activists formally recognized by the municipality of Naples. L'Asilo in 2012 is a precious historical building of the 16th century, a convent right in the pulsing city center of Naples. And it was occupied by a group of art and culture professionals who, on the impulse of the worldwide Occupy movement after the crisis of 2009, was protesting against corruption and mismanagement of public funds, against the wild cut to the artistic and cultural sector, against the wild neoliberal policy that was and is leading to privatization of public buildings, eroding public spaces that, for being public, belong to the community of the citizens, and forcing art and culture to be put on the market as a commodity, a product, accessible to the few who have the economic power. We all understand the consequences of all this. For the last 20 years, we tried to conquer spaces for art and culture, believing we needed to justify its productive capacity. Speaking of cultural industries, yet times have changed. And today, a shift is needed and a new paradigm can be proposed. A paradigm breaking down the dichotomy public-private, which today means less and less public and more private. What is possible and what the city of Naples introduces with the implementation of the fabric of civic use of emerging urban commons is something which is neither public nor private, but common. In September, we were invited to a round table to prepare recommendations for the European Year of Cultural Heritage 2018. This is a precious opportunity to reflect on new governance models that emerge from the recognition of cultural heritage as a common good and, as such, as an essentially utility for the satisfaction of collective needs corresponding to the exercise of fundamental rights of the person and therefore must be protected and safeguarded by legal systems, also for the benefit of future generations. The mobilization of art, culture, and workers in Italy and in Europe understood a deep connection between public space as a physical and juridical sphere where the community decides, and public heritage as a place where the community can continuously produce and benefit for cultural heritage, from cultural heritage. In fact, the taking of speech, the artistic expression, and the enjoyment of cultural heritage all contribute to the formation of the democratic dimension of the person. As a consequence, the protection of heritage and art is inseparable from the elaboration of more inclusive management and governance models. The challenge lies in letting be the artistic expression as an heterogeneous civic and cultural reality, suffering rigid rules and vulnerable with respect to the competitive and uniforming logic of the market. The valorization must be considered in synergy with a new concept of horizontal subsidiarity, which recognizes the public space created by the citizens' organization, aware that the community is capable of interpreting the general interest. The administration, therefore, is called to a positive action that supports self-government with spaces and resources and fosters the sharing of ideas and practices. This form of management does not privatize, but recognizes the wide autonomy to the spontaneous institutions of citizens, with a precise division of responsibilities. In the case of l'asilo, for example, the administration assumes the burden of financing the viability of the space in compliance with the duties of an economic nature and against the value produced in terms of civic profitability. The community assumes the daily care of the asset and maintains a full autonomy in the carrying out of its activities. The extensive interpretation of civic uses, which is a medieval juridical tool, forgotten heritage of our know-how to do in common, is able to guarantee accessibility, usability, impartiality, democracy, and non-exclusivity in the use of a good. The Urban Civic Use Regulation recognizes the autonomy of the management system adopted by the users that must be based on a strong participatory process. Well, I will end up here just saying that it is possible to consider other options, and one of those options that might be interesting for the development of the cultural sector and for regaining art and culture as being one of the fundamental rights for the development of the human being can be through the practice of the commons. Not exclusively, but I think this one is a path that is worth exploring more. Thank you very much.